Hey everyone, this is Andrew Black Swordsman, and you're watching my review of Sword Art Online, the movie Ordinal Scale. So I had the pleasure of watching SAO Ordinal Scale at the Hollywood premiere at the Egyptian Theater, and I was really impressed. By the time you watch this video, I've probably also watched it a second time at a theater near me, but at the time of me filming it, I've only seen it once. I also intend to check this out again when the dub is released, so I'll be seeing this more and more and more. Warning, this video contains a ton of spoilers. If you haven't watched the movie yet, please save this video for later. You have been warned. So this movie was fantastic. I am not ashamed to start my review by saying that. Aside from its great music and its extraordinary animation, what really made this movie great was that it contained every aspect of SAO that most fans really enjoyed from the first two seasons. Though most of this movie's inspiration comes from the Aincrad arc, there seems to be little bits of inspiration throughout the film that was reminiscent of every single one of the 5 arcs that had aired at this point. So let's start with the Aincrad arc. The first aspect of the Aincrad arc that is present in Ordinal Scale is the possibility of death due to a video game. So one of the biggest reasons that many casual fans stopped watching SAO after the Aincrad arc was because they felt the intensity was lowered due to it being impossible to die in real life while dying in Alfheim Online. Ordinal Scale ran with a similar idea to Aincrad's Nerve Gear, the discovery of Asuna's memory being wiped when being killed in game, along with the other SAO survivors, brought in that same kind of pressure that was present in the Aincrad arc. Some could even argue that losing the most defining memories in your life is worse than death. Towards the end, they even grew close to getting a high output scan, similar to the Nerve Gear that could in fact have killed the players again. The intensity present in Ordinal Scale keeps you on your toes and keeps you concerned about the characters and feels really reminiscent of the Aincrad arc. Next is more Kirito and Asuna's screen time together. So let's be real here, Kirito and Asuna are the real OTP, but it feels like it's been forever since we've seen them together in action. Truly the last time we saw them fighting side by side was in the Aincrad arc. A lot of us have been thirsting for more on-screen Kirito and Asuna time, and this film helped us quench that thirst. The opening few minutes of the film features a flashback to the Aincrad arc of Kirito and Asuna making a promise to see a meteor shower in the real world. This immediately sets the film as being a tale of Kirito and Asuna. While a big focus of the movie was definitely on the Ogma and AR and the video game Ordinal Scale, I would say that Kirito and Asuna's love was an even bigger focus. Despite Asuna losing her memories from SAO, she fought to continue loving Kirito. On top of that, Kirito was willing to do anything to get her memories back. Next was the main villain being from the Aincrad arc. Like I said earlier, most fans love the Aincrad arc the most, so Eiji being an SAO survivor was huge. My first gut instinct was that the villain would be another Laughing Coffin member. Maybe that would have been too predictable. I found it to be a really pleasant surprise that they chose to use someone from the Knights of the Blood Oath instead. So let's jump to the ALO/Fairy Dance arc. So the main aspect taken from the least popular Sword Art Online arc was the rush to save Asuna. So back in the ALO arc, Kirito found out that Asuna was trapped at the top of the world tree. Kirito loves video games and loves to enjoy them, but when something happens to Asuna, it isn't a game anymore. Something similar happened in the Ordinal Scale movie. Asuna lost all of her memories of her time in Aincrad. Kirito never really cared about playing Ordinal Scale, but as soon as he found out that the game had stolen her memories, he got really serious. One of my favorite scenes showing this is when Kirito is fighting a boss all by himself. So the whole crowd is just watching him, and they're all sort of telling him, hey, come on, it's just a game. And all he does is yell at them to get out of his way so he can get the most out of these bosses. Next is what I'd like to call two sides of Asuna's strength. So as you all know, Asuna is a tough girl. The first aspect of Asuna's strength is in much of a literal sense in the Aincrad arc. She is the second in command in a top guild, Knights of the Blood Oath. She can mostly keep up with a beater Kirito. She's really strong, and her personality is super cold initially, and she's so fast with a rapier that Kirito can't even see the tip of it when she uses it. The second aspect of Asuna's strength is in the Fairy Dance arc, but in a different way. A lot of people saw Asuna being captured as some sort of weakness. Many said that she became quote-unquote a damsel in distress. If that's your opinion too, I won't discredit it, but I saw it in a different way. Instead, it showed Asuna in the very worst of conditions, yet she never lost her resolve, and she never stopped trying to escape it. So both of those two aspects of Asuna's strength are present in Ordinal Scale. towards the beginning, she's really strong in a literal sense. Out of all the main characters that we remember from the series, Asuna has one of the highest ranks. She even shows up to a boss fight without Kirito, because she doesn't really need him to play the game and succeed. Eventually though, her memory of Aincrad's wiped after dying in the game. Rather than given to despair, she fights for her love for Kirito. She knows that the memories of her past with him are gone, but she constantly keeps a smile on, and writes in her diary every day to remind herself of her love for Kirito. I think it was really cool to make her strength multi-dimensional in this movie. So next is the GGO/Phantom Bullet arc. SAO reinvented itself in every single arc. In the GGO arc, on top of it having guns rather than lots of swords, it felt a lot like a murder mystery type plot. As you remember, Kirito found out that people were somehow dying in the game, and he was tasked with investigating GGO and figuring out what was going on. And as you guys know, in Ordinal Scale, something similar happened. He started investigating really early on in the game, just while people were innocently enjoying it. He eventually spends a ton of time digging up information, and then of course he eventually figures out all the info on the scheme as to why SAO survivors were losing their memories after being killed in Ordinal Scale. Next from the GGO arc is Sinon. I worked at the Aniplex booth at Anime Expo 2016, and guess who won the character election? Yep, it was everyone's favorite ice sniper, Sinon. So some of the coolest scenes in the GGO arc are in the BOB tournament, with Kirito fighting up close and Sinon sniping from far away. There's one boss that Kirito sorta tries to fight all on his own, and Sinon of course helps him out. Just like in the GGO arc, in Ordinal Scale, Kirito fought a boss up close and personal, while Sinon shot from further away. It felt super reminiscent of the GGO arc, which I really liked. So from the very short Caliber arc, I think its small influence was the inclusion of a ton of side characters. So while on a quest in ALO during the Caliber arc, they all join a party together, and it's the first time we see characters like Lisbeth and Silica actually help out in some sort of boss fight. And towards the end of the Ordinal Scale movie, they all fight the final boss together. On top of the main supporting characters joining, a ton of the super minor characters showed up too, and that was really nice. So while that was really cool, I was hoping that characters like Leafa and Akio got just a bit more screen time. Mother's Rosario, feels. From the Mother's Rosario arc comes feels. While there are quite a bit of feels that showed up in the movie, I think we all know that there's one scene that comes to mind. During the final boss fight, Asuna activates Yuki's original sword skill, Mother's Rosario, and that was really awesome and all, but the real kicker was her showing up holding Asuna's hand as she used the sword skill. Feels. So overall, I highly recommend this movie to any SAO fan. If you're an SAO super fan, you'll love it. Any casual fan that has at least seen the first half of the first season will also enjoy this. This movie was literally everything that a Sword Art Online fan wants to see on screen, and I would give this a solid 9.5 out of 10. I would give it a perfect 10, but I think that Akio and Leafa needed a bit more screen time. Anyways, thank you so much guys for checking out this video. Tell me your opinion on the movie in the comments below. See you next time.